Hello, everybody. It's your boy Lil L, and this is the Synch Era Network Podcast. I'm your host, MC, rapper, singer, a little bit of everything. And today, oh man, today, I got somebody on here today. And this man is a great instrumentalist, part of two bands. Am I correct? Two bands?
That's right, two bands.
Two bands. He definitely a hard worker in the Synch Era division, NWI to be exact. This man right here, he is, a singer that I am near one. Jerry Jacinto, hey!
Thank you. Thank you.
As I know him as Jerry, Jammin' Jerry.
Yes, my
Yes,
Instagram
sir.
handle.
Yes, sir. How you doing, man? How we doing today?
I'm doing great. How's your day going?
Oh man, busy. Busy as possible, busy. But I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to at least be able to have this sit down conversation with you on the podcast, Jerry.
I've been looking forward to it, man.
Oh, definitely. I seen you in my DM on Instagram, and I was already talking to you, and I seen you commented on one of the pictures, and I was like in my head, let me ask Jerry if you want to come on. So, man, appreciate you being here, man.
Of course, man. Thanks for having me.
Oh, yes. So, I'd like to start it out with a couple questions to let it build beyond. But first thing is, man, how did you fall in love with the guitar?
Honestly, it's kind of funny. Through Guitar Hero.
Oh,
I started playing Guitar Hero. I got it for like the Xbox 360,
mm-hmm.
and I was always playing it, and I always just thought it was really cool, really fun, and like when I'm playing the game, it's like, you want to be there. You want to like, man, I want to be at that concert. And like, I grew up playing like football and baseball and soccer and stuff, and I was never good at it. I was really good at warming the bench though. Like nobody warmed the bench like me. I was very good at that. That thing was steaming hot. But when it came to high school, I was like 15. I started picking up on Guitar Hero again, and I was like, I have like a little guitar I got like years ago. Why don't I pick that up?
Mm-hmm.
So I just decided to start fumbling around with it, and then simultaneously I just became like really close friends with Brett Butler, and when I picked up the guitar, he picked up the drums. So it was very much like, we're like, dude, let's just hang out and just make noise for hours and hours every day.
Yeah.
And it just kind of built from there.
Nice.
Now we're in a band together, and we get paid to play money, and it's like, I didn't expect any of this, really. This is like, it's pretty awesome.
That's a great accomplishment, man. Because a lot of people, every time I'm on Instagram, it's always something, especially in your story with, with a show or a couple dates going, and I see the consistency of gigs. Some people, and I'm still myself as an artist, I'm still trying to have that consistency of gigs, especially paid gigs. Me and my brother did it is tricky. Me and my brother did our first ever paid gig. Shout out to Coffee House Lakeside. We did our first ever paid gig, and it was just something. It was a scale, it was like an upscale. And so, like, tell me about from being just going to like what would be open mics, and then just like going to like free shows, then all of a sudden then get to the paid gigs, like, because a lot of people need to know that it's not an overnight thing.
No, not at all. I started gigging when I want to say I was 17. I started playing around Northwest Indiana, mainly at like there was this place in Lansing called Royal Skate Shop, and it was a skate shop, but in the back they had this little room, and all these bands would just fill it up, and it would just get packed, and it was like so hot and humid in there, especially in the summer. It was awesome. It was super DIY, really fun. So I was doing stuff like that for years, and it was like no money, no getting paid or anything like that. It's really just showing up and playing music and networking with people and so on and so forth. Then at the age of like 22, I decided, I'm like, all right, well, Finnegan's Pub is on Tuesday night. They have jam nights, and that's like 5 minutes from my house. It would be silly for me to not go.
Right.
So I started going out to jam nights, and as I'm doing that, I'm working at a grocery store, getting up at 5 a.m. I'm out till 3 a.m. Then I have to be up at 5 a.m. So I can work till 1, come home, go to sleep, wake up, go back out to the jam sessions. And then when I start going to the jam sessions every week, I'll be at Finnegan's, and then I'll be at Beer Geeks over in Highland on Wednesdays. And then doors start to open. People start saying, hey, you should try this. You should try this. And the thing that really opened my eyes is that I meet people and I'm like, wait, you're married and you live on your own and you're financially stable and all you do is teach and play music. And I'm just like, I didn't know that was possible. I was like, what? I thought you had to be like,
yeah,
the big thing to be able to do something like that. And I was shown like, no, you just have to work hard and be at the right places at the right times. And next thing you know, I'm hired to be a teacher at Guitar Center, and then I'm able to quit the grocery store job, and then I'm able to just call places regularly. And I'm still kind of getting my footing with booking gigs regularly, but it is at least 3 gigs a month at least. Sometimes I'd have 2 gigs in a day. And yeah, now I'm just at the point where it's like, sweet, if I'm not talking about music, then I'm playing music, and it's how I make my money. And it's like it feels like a blessing that I can sit here and be like, yeah, I do what I love for a living. Not everybody gets to do that. Like I said, a year ago, I was working at a grocery store. And I was I wouldn't say I was miserable, but staying out till 3, getting up at 5 doesn't exactly, I'm not exactly a morning bird. So, it wasn't ideal.
Amazing. That's a lot. That's really great because, me personally, I didn't even know that, of course, until this interview. That's why I said we dropping gems today. We dropping gems because a lot of people as independent artists, grassroots artists or whatever, you have to understand it's a thing of sacrifice when you're starting out. You have to be able to, earn that, that network of being able to have that reputation to be able to do gigs because especially paid gigs. So people gonna want to see what you're about. People just think instantly like, oh, you just do first paid gig, first gig, all of a sudden it's gigs forever. No, you got to understand it comes with a lot of time and preparation for this.
Yeah, it's a long process. Like I said, I started gigging when I was 17, and I started getting paid for gigs when I was 22. That's or not 22, sorry, 23. That's 6 years. Not to say that I never made any money. I'd make a little bit, but it was like February or January of this year where I had a gig and I was handed the cash and I got in my car and counted it, and then I like cried because I was like, oh my God, I can do this. This is a thing I can do. And I'm like, sweet, I can make it happen. Yes. I can have a stable life as a musician and an artist, which isn't I don't know if promoted is the right word, but in high school that was like, if you were to say that was like you were shamed for that in some ways. There was a career day in high school. You pick your career and then you roll dice on things. Well, I was like, I'm going to be a musician. And they're like, all right, you'll make maybe 15 grand a year, and you roll the dice. Now you're going to have 3 kids. You're going to live downtown in a 1-room apartment, and your transportation. It was basically telling me, hey, if you're going to be a musician, your life's going to be shit.
Yeah.
It's what they're basically telling us. But if you're going to be a doctor, your life is going to be great. And so I'm just happy enough that I was surrounded by musicians, whether, just friends. I don't have any family members that are musicians around me. But I had friends like Brett and my bass player in Notes of Nature, Brandon Gill.
Shout out to them.
Yeah, they're great guys, man. And all the musicians around the school and then around the Northwest Indiana scene. Yes. That support system really inspires you. And then I was able to kind of push past that discouragement that high school gave me.
Yeah. I'm gonna jump back a little bit. I'm feeling this. I'm gonna jump back. I'm gonna talk about to the viewers the first time, well, I say contact you because I remember the first time you caught my eye was when shout out to Nigel, he does photos, now he does real estate. Shout out to Nigel, y'all want
Nigel's
to
the
book
man.
hey, book
Yeah.
Nigel for pictures. Everything might hook you up with a nice new home next time soon. But anyway,
Yeah.
realtor. So, but I remember when Nigel was going live, and I think you were at Finnegan's or somewhere else.
Yeah.
And
It's
I
Finnegan's.
heard the guitar, and it was like, and then you put the finger across the string, and it did that one sound, and I was like, oh, who is this? So I'm calling Nigel. I'm like, hey, who is that? Like, who is that with the guitar doing the thing on on the guitar? He was like, hey, man, that's just Jam and Jerry. His voice. That's Jam and Jerry.
Yeah.
That man. He's phenomenal. He with a band called Notes of Nature, and he's amazing. And when we jam, and we go all night long. And I was like, man, look, you got because usually I would say, man, you got to hook me up with, give me the network with Jay. We need to make something because I can sample his guitar. We can make something go. And so he was like, oh yeah, I'll talk to him. But I couldn't wait. So I ended up texting you right after the phone call because I couldn't wait. And I was looking at your Instagram page, and I remember the video. It's still vivid in my head. And you told me, I know what it was, but I guess it was like a jamming or a backing track. And all of a sudden, I seen you play the guitar. I was like, man.
I remember that video.
Exactly. And you was not playing with it, and it just sounded so groovy and funky, and I started singing over it. I was singing over it and all that. I was like, man, this guy gotta work one day. And I remember I called you up and got to know you and stuff like that. And then the Down the Rabbit Hole, shout out to Mike Over, the Down the Rabbit Hole show.
Yeah. That was a great show, man.
Oh my goodness, it was like a movie, like
Over
Down
at
the Rabbit
Goodfellas,
Hole.
yeah.
Yes, and shout out to Goodfellas.
Mm-hmm.
At their show, and it was like, to me, it was like an all-star like cast. Like I look at it as like a basketball game. Like we got the starting five, the lineup, and I remember, me and my brother, shout out to Station T, we had went before you guys, and man, the crowd was going wild. And then once you guys stepped up there, I was like, man, and I remember this one part. He was in the middle of your set, and he was like trying to get some crowd participation, talk to the crowd. And I remember I was like, yeah, go crazy. He was like, what? I was like, no, I said go crazy. He was like, oh, cool, dude. I started laughing because I was like, I knew it was so loud because the acoustics that day, because it's right in your face.
Mm-hmm.
I
couldn't hear anything.
Exactly. The vocals and all that stuff, but you guys really did like amazing, like that show. And that was my first time seeing you guys play live, like in the flesh. And like, and speaking of that, Notes of Nature, man, how did you guys come up with that? First of all, the name and the group, how did that come together?
Well, basically, group wise, I've been playing with Brett and Brandon since high school. Me and Brandon were in a couple bands together. Me and Brett were in a couple bands together. We were all in a similar band at one point. And then you have some departures, and then I'm in another band, and then yada, yada, yada. A few years later, it's just me and Brett. And we're like, you know what? Let's start another band. Let's be a trio, maybe start off small. And we're like, we both instantly knew like what bass player we wanted. And it was Brandon, because Brandon was, like I first started playing with Brett. That was the first person I would jam with, and I'd go out and jam with other people. And it's very much like having conversations. If you go and jam with someone, and it's like having a conversation, and sometimes the conversation isn't like too exciting, maybe, and that's not to anybody's fault. Not everybody has chemistry or is compatible. So I'm playing with other musicians from the school, and I'm just like, still not Brett though. And then when I played with Brandon, I was like, I'm getting that feeling like I'm with Brett. Like I can throw something out there and he can throw something back that is not what I imagined, but is much better than anything I would imagine. So we knew that he was the guy to hit up. And then when it came to the name, I don't know, I was just kind of thinking about different names. I always liked picking band names. I always liked the concept of being in a band.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought it was really cool because of like Rock Band and Guitar Hero. That's what you would do in those games. So I was like, I wanted to do that in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, the name just kind of came to me at one point, and then I'm looking it up online, and I'm like, nobody's called Notes of Nature yet. And I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
let's take it. Let's take that name.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we've just been rolling with it since. It's been about 2 years now. We had like a hiatus last year during quarantine, of course. We didn't meet
Mm-hmm.
up for a couple months, but yeah, we're back on the horse, and everything's pretty awesome and exciting.
Nice, nice, nice. As far as like, because I like to get an insight the behind the scenes of what people don't like actually see. So how is like the original song making process as far as like when you guys are in the studio or you guys are practicing? Like how is that affair? Like how is that?
So it's all pretty different. I'll say the latest one.
Okay.
We were together a few days ago, and I had a couple ideas that I was going to present. For like every 10 songs I write on my own, I get like 2 really solid ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh sweet, finally I worked through the garbage, and I was able to find some golden nuggets.
Okay.
So I bring it to them, and before I present it to them, um Brandon just starts playing a bass line off the top of his head. Brett jumps in on the drums, and then we jam on that for like 10 minutes, and then kind of talk about what just happened. Hey, what can
Mm-hmm.
we pick through that was really cool? And then I throw out an idea, and I'm like, hey, I have this chord progression, this little melody. Let's do that.
Mm-hmm.
Present it. Let them paint over, on this canvas. Discuss it a little bit, joke around,
Mm-hmm.
move on to another idea, and then within an hour and a half, we have about 3 ideas that we're just stupid excited about. And then
Right.
after that, we just get in the car, and we just listen to the whole recording, and we're talking about it. Hey, what colors do you see right now? What vibe are you thinking? What do you think? And where could
Mm-hmm.
this go? What should we take out? When should vocals come in? Should we try this? Should we try that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't really like this when we played it, but I think it sounds really good now. And then we're just kind of bouncing off of each other, and mixing these colors, and painting this picture together. It's never like, I never write a whole song and then like, what I mean by that, like the single that's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote the form, I wrote the chord progression, and I wrote the lyrics, and I wrote my guitar part. The
Right.
drums, the bass, I had nothing to do with, because why bother? That's them. I'm in a band
Exactly.
with them because I love what they throw out
Mm-hmm.
towards what I throw out. So I just presented that to them, and then it's like, boom, they just
Exactly.
come up with stuff that I'm just like, oh my God, I thank God I'm not like in charge of bass and guitar, in
Yeah.
drums, because it's not what it is,
Mm-hmm.
which is Notes of Nature.
Exactly. Nice, nice, nice. I want to go into a deeper subject. How is it as far as someone that that is part of, I would say, 2 bands? Because I do want to talk about Too Smooth Duo. Yeah, I didn't forget about
Yes,
that. Too
yes.
Smooth Duo. But how is it as far as now? Would you rank yourself as, I mean, it is, of course, it's always going to be a partnership. Would you rank yourself as the leader and the conductor of both?
No, no. It's very much like, and now that you mentioned Too Smooth, because we haven't had a gig in about 2 months. I'm actually in 3 bands now.
Oh,
That's
wow.
actually, if
Okay.
we're including Too Smooth, yeah.
All right.
Too Smooth is very much like, I met up with this guy, Max Pastori, and him and his sister. I met them through college,
Mhm.
South Suburban Community College over in um, South Holland. Almost
Okay.
forgot it. And he is just a musician who grew up. His whole family's classical musicians. They can sight read. They're like geniuses. They know all the theory and
Nice.
everything like that. So like when I met up with him, I felt honored that he chose to do this project with me.
Mhm.
And we learned a lot from each other. He's very much of he taught me how to harmonize. I felt like I was getting like free guitar lessons, and he'll say he learned some stuff from me too, but like,
Mhm.
I was learning a lot from him. And like, that was a situation where I was like, you choose most of the songs, you do a lot of the stuff, of course I'll be involved in this, but I do so much in Notes of Nature, in the sense of, you know, I'm mostly handling our social media, write the guitar parts, I write the lyrics. But even with Notes of Nature, I don't see myself as the band leader. I'm never like, okay, guys, we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna do this. It's more of, hey guys, do you want to do this, or do you want to do this? Here's my opinion, and here's why. It's very much of like a group process. Yes, very much of a camaraderie. And then in the third band I'm in, Johnny DeMont, that's like a 7-piece cover band. That when I'm very much just like, you guys take the reins on everything. I'll just shoot for the ride, you know. I'll just, you know, you point and I'll shoot. So yeah, I never really see myself as a band leader. Some people tell me like, yeah, you're the band leader, and it's like, well, you know, I'm just the one who I guess talks the most. Yeah, tries to get things in line. Because I care about it. It's like my thing. Notes of Nature is, and well, all the bands I'm in, that's that thing that I can place, not necessarily above myself, but that thing that I can really strive towards, because I know that there's other individuals counting on me. Where my solo work, my solo acoustic stuff, there's almost nothing there, because I don't focus on it, because I'm like, well, I want to do this stuff where people are counting on me, where I can really have an impact on someone else's life. Not that I can't with solo acoustic stuff, but you know, when you're in a band with other people and you have this responsibility, I better write these lyrics, or else if I don't present these lyrics, this song might be forgotten, and I really care about it, so on and so forth. So yeah, I don't really see myself as a leader, but
nice. And I was just asking that because just the importance of someone knowing like their role, or knowing what's like going on, because a lot of people, you do have stern people who's okay, I'm the leader, and you have people that's like, okay, let's just be family, let's be married, and all that stuff like that. Because a lot of bands, and to truth be told, a lot of bands, even great bands, that the ones that, you know, we know, you know, out there, they might have great music, great amazing music, but inside there's other things, you know, other things going on, because of like, okay, you do this, you do that, and you do that, and it's like, it takes away the fun aspect of it. You know, it really does.
Yeah, it's not like, if somebody were just to be like, all right, you're gonna play this and you're gonna play this just like this, it might not. And let's say that's in my passion project, it's gonna take some of the passion away, because I feel like my power is being taken away. It's like, okay, I'm just kind of, you know, I'm just a cog in the whole factory that's replaceable. And when you have members who feel and know that they aren't replaceable, you know, I've had people offer like, hey, if Brett can't make it to this gig, let me know. And it's like, okay, yes, you're an amazing drummer, but Brett has a very specific style that we stick that, and we all do. That's how it comes together. Notes of Nature, I think this is a perfect metaphor for it. If we're in a car, and this is how we go to gigs, I'm driving the car. Brett's handling the directions. GPS says that, and then Brandon's in the back packing the CBD.
Okay. All right.
You know, and we're all doing things together. Yeah.
Amazing. How important is it for reliability when it comes to band members? For example, like say for example, okay, because you need the package. So if one person, misses the gig, say for instance, like say if one person missed the gig, then it's like, all right, then we got to regroup and all that. Like, tell from your experience to the audience how important it is for, you know, to be able to have a good brotherhood in the band. So to be able to rely on people, because, you know, for yourself, you know, you coming, you know, and, you know, it's because it's different when you're doing a band thing and a solo thing. Of course, like you just said, solo work versus band work. But how important is having to be reliable in a band?
It's incredibly important, because everybody relies on each other. That's the idea of it being in a band. Notes of Nature, I can't think of any times I've really thought about, you know, where I've experienced where one of us dropped the ball at a gig or something like that, or just couldn't make it suddenly. But I did have a gig one time where it was very like, hey, we're just going to get some random musicians together. We're going to get together tonight and call out these random songs. This person
Mm-hmm.
can make it this. So we're all just getting together and playing jam night songs. I'm like, all right, cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then the drummer is like, well, I don't know if I'll be able to make it. I'm going to find out maybe about 2 hours before the gig. And then I'm just sitting there just like, okay, that is like so stressful. Like if, it was just super stressful, and he couldn't make it, and we had to get another drummer. And then, the drummer's late and stuff like that. And it's just becomes very like, it's, I don't want to say necessarily, I think annoying is too harsh of a word, but it's like, come on, man, we're getting paid to do something. We're getting paid to play music. Be on time, like, don't play these stupid games where we're sitting here waiting around for this drummer who's coming in last minute, who's just, it was just kind of very it feels very unstable. And then when you start playing, that foundation is kind of a little shaky, because I don't know, at least for me, the musicians I choose to play with, we vibe on stage and we vibe off stage, and like all of it really comes together. Like,
exactly.
For example, like, this is kind of going off the rails a little bit, but like,
That's all right.
I sometimes I hesitate in life. I'm like, oh, should I take that turn? Oh, no, I should have taken that turn.
Right.
Sometimes during playing, I hesitate a little bit. The playing is very much correlates with how you live your life. So if somebody's like showing up like they don't care, and it's just like a whatever thing, and you can't really rely on them as an individual. Now, when it comes to the song itself, great. How do I know that they're going to be making that eye contact when we have to end the song? Because this is all mainly improv stuff. Okay, how am I going to rely on them to come in at this part, right? If I can't rely on them for this. And then it becomes like, now you're worried and stuff, and the whole vibe's down. And it's just like, pick who the musicians you pick to spend time with. Just, pick them wisely, I guess. But you don't have to pick them wisely, because they're just going to be people you gel with in general. I did that answer your question?
No, you did.
Okay,
I'm taking it all in. Trust me, I'm taking it all.
Okay.
I'm loving this right now. I'm gonna hit you with another one.
Please.
How? This is a good one. I'm feeling this one. Talk about the struggle as an up and coming artist, or as an artist, period, that is building something from the ground up. From the ground up, you got dirt.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. The struggle is very much it's all psychological, in the sense of like, people who don't make art will think that somebody who is making art, they almost see it as like an act of rebellion. When I told my family, hey, I'm quitting this company job and I'm just gonna gig and teach, they were all very happy for me, of course, but like, some were like, hey man, you better be amazing, because like, you're taking a big risk here. And it's almost like, hey, if you like, why can't I just be an artist? Why can't I just, do my thing? Why does it have to be something big and extraordinary? Like, yeah, that's going to be awesome. That's kind of what everybody kind of wants. But like, it's almost like looked down upon to be an artist, because people don't think that you can make a living off of art. And then if you look around, like, a lot of people don't make art. But I think it's very important to, because I don't think it's an act of rebellion. I think it's just simply an act of expression. And then when it comes to going out and performing now, there's plenty of times where we'll finish a song and nobody really claps. Or like, oh, they finished the song. Oh yeah, we got to clap now. But if we're playing in a restaurant, I can't really let that get to me. Some people are there just to have, they're just celebrating their grandma's 87th birthday 2 feet from my amp. So like, I can't really, like, I'm not really gonna be like, oh, you better clap. But it's like, you very much have to have your own self-protection, trust in yourself, trust in the universe and what it brings you and everything like that, trust in the individuals you spend time with. You all have to kind of count on each other, but first and foremost, you have to be there for yourself. You have to be your biggest fan. You have to be your validation. You can't rely on, so a lot of people want fame. To me, fame is just a quick way to get validation. It's that external validation.
Yes.
But like that none of that's going to matter unless you have your own validation. So like you really just got to be self-reliant and just kind of keep pushing and keep pushing. And there's, it's a roller coaster. There's dips and there's peaks. There's times where it's like I don't have many gigs this week, and like nobody's really answering me, and like I'm struggling with this song. And then all within 24 hours you start networking, you get multiple phone calls within like 5 minutes. Like I'm on the phone call booking one gig and another person's calling me, and I'm like, who's calling me? I'm finally booking this gig. It's another person who wants to book a gig. And then you come up with great ideas, and it's like, okay, you just got to keep going, and things will pay off. And then, you'll take that dip again, and then you'll go up again. It's up and down. You just really have to trust in the process, and almost enjoy it too. I would love if one day I had people who just took my equipment for me. That would be awesome. But like right now I'm enjoying, I love that I'm getting out of my car and it's 2 a.m. and I just got paid, and I have like my pedal board on one shoulder hanging off, and then I got a guitar in my backpack, and then I got one guitar in one hand, and I'm also carrying an amp, and I'm just like, I'm like barely moving. I'm like, I can't move. But I'm like, this is awesome. No, I just got money for playing music, so you just have to enjoy it and trust in everything. And I don't know where it's going to go. And that's the most exciting part for me, that mystery of the future. It's really cool.
Yeah, man, you speaking on a lot of things I definitely, can relate to. Cause like, man, like it's just something about like, it's something about progression when you're actually getting results. Cause a lot of people, I say this to my brother all the time. A lot of people are running in place. They're running in place and just doing the same things year round, month round, and everything. But when you actually see the results, like that's really, something. It really goes by the results. Like, you have. For me personally, if I have to love something to endure the sacrifice.
Yeah.
Because me being an artist, you being an artist, if you just coming in just to make money, you either not gonna do that well, or you're gonna get the results where you was looking for and no progression. And I love the struggle. I knew what I signed up for, and I signed up for a life story, a life event. Like it's always, for me, music, it always changes. Like I never thought of myself from going to just be honest, rappity rap, like a lot of black people expect, rap. And then I went from singing, then I went from doing a country album, then I went from doing a heavy metal album, then I went from doing a rock out, like, because it's just so much. And so if you if you put yourself in a box or keep running in place and not just keep getting the same results, where is your progression? And like what you're talking about, from when I asked that question until you finish that, I just was seeing and just feeling and hearing the answer of results.
Yeah, it's all just a process, and being kind of self-aware. I don't think it's, as the artist, I don't think it's your job to analyze your work. It's your job to do the work. Everybody else gets to analyze it. That's the fun part. The quality is really kind of just naturally comes as you go on, but you just have to put in that work. And like you said, like you chose this struggle. It's it's all about, like, no matter what we do, we're gonna struggle. We're gonna struggle with something. We're gonna be miserable with something. We're gonna be going through pain with something. And I'm just like, you know what? I get to choose my struggle. I'm choosing this struggle because it's the one that makes me feel like it's the struggle that I see worthwhile. And then with results, it's very interesting because, very much like Mark Manson, he writes books and blogs a lot. He had a good point of like being patient, because he's talking about, like, if your life is the Titanic, you try to turn, it takes a really long time to turn. It's not, you're not a speedboat. You're the biggest boat in the water right now, and you have to take that turn, and it takes a while. And it's like, even when it comes to teaching, a lot of my students, rarely they're not going to get that instant result. I teach improv to some students, and improvisation is a very much of a soul searching thing. Like you can learn the scales and the notes, but like you got to look within a lot. It requires a lot of that, and to open up and to feel free. And like a few months after I get a student, they're sitting in front of me just soloing, and I'm just like, man, they came such a long way, but it takes time. It all takes time, and it's all process. And it's a process that's, at least so far, has been worth every step of the way.
Amazing. So how would you describe the Northwest Indiana scene as far as, you know, the you know, the artists, whether it be, it doesn't even have to just be music, it could be, you know, painters, sculptors, poets, you know, all the above, instrumentalists. How would you describe the Northwest Indiana scene?
It's very diverse. It's a very diverse scene. It becomes more and more diverse the more I go out. There's different areas and aspects to it. There's the more underground area that you and I are more familiar with, like Down the Rabbit Hole is a very much of an underground show. And then there's the, I don't know if above ground is the right word, but you know, there's a very much very lively blues scene around here. There's amazing blues musicians left and right, from like, you know, Funky Mojo Daddy's a great blues band, Jack Whittle Trio and Derek Caruso and Head Honchos and all these people I met, you know, through jam nights, and they're just killer blues musicians playing bigger shows. They have the consistent gigs, very hardworking individuals. And then there's the underground scene where we're not really, that's not the scene that's really making money, but that is the scene that's where there's a lot of people painting. There's a lot of people doing poetry, a lot of people experimenting a lot. So a lot of experimentation and just like pure just art. And it's all awesome and it's all beautiful. And then there's people who, like, you know, I work with a DJ who does live streams a couple times a week, Jungle J, and he's great. And then there's Arbor Avenue, who she just does lo-fi hip hop and releases that online, and that's awesome. And that's all people in the Northwest Indiana scene. There's like, it's really cool and really diverse. I like to see, since Notes of Nature has been a part of both of these worlds, you know, we get the consistent paid gigs, but then we've also done the underground stuff, and we are experimenting, and we do, like, you know, I've been painting recently and stuff like that. It's like that nice, I feel like we're a nice in between of, like, you know, we're still experimental and we're still doing a lot of self-expression. We're also still getting paid for it though. But yeah, it's a big, beautiful scene. And then there's like Fresh Hops, who they play at Beer Geeks on Wednesday nights for the jam. They're very much like a consistently paid band who play large shows, but they're also like very experimental and very, very crazy. So yeah, there's just a lot going on in this scene. And in the future, I plan to venture out to maybe go out to Valparaiso and then Michigan, and then maybe go into Illinois and check out some Chicago. But no matter what, Northwest Indiana will be that's that fundamental area for me, that the music community around here is like a family, and it's really beautiful and really special. And it'll always feel like home for me. You know, every week I'm like, I'm not going to Finnegan's this week. Nah, I'm taking the night off. I'm just sitting in, I'm just doing my own thing. And where do I end up every week? I end up at Finnegan's, like, no matter what. I just keep getting reeled in, because it feels like home. So yeah, the whole scene I think is really beautiful, really supportive. Like I said, it was the people pointing me in the right direction and giving me the right advice that has led me to become the independent musician that I am today. So yeah, I love it all. And then all the art and everything, it's all really beautiful, the way it all comes together.
Amazing.
I mean, even like right here, I'm drinking coffee out of pottery that drummer Brett Butler made. Brett made this, and I drink coffee out of it every day. And it's he made this vase. Yeah, dude. I have Brett's stuff around my house, like, because it's awesome. And it's like, And that's a perfect example right there. Brett's someone
Mm-hmm.
who makes pottery and sells the pottery and was able to
Mm-hmm.
make a living off of that. So yeah, it's really awesome stuff.
Yes, yes, man. Yes. I wanna ask you something. You got a guitar nearby, whether it be acoustic, electric, you got something nearby?
I do. Yeah, I have a lot of instruments nearby.
Hey, can you do me a favor? Can you pull out that acoustic and show them who Jam and Jerry is?
Okay, I'll grab something. Like, give me a minute.
Okay.
I'll go grab
All
something.
right.
Yeah.
Take your time. Take your time. Everybody, hey, y'all in for a treat. Y'all in for a treat, y'all. Jerry is about to show y'all something very, very amazing to the listeners out there. Getting ready to get that guitar, show y'all what he does.
So where I'm sitting doesn't exactly give me a lot of room.
Okay.
But this is my acoustic guitar.
All right.
What I think I'll play very slowly because I don't want to make it too messy. I'm just gonna play a new Notes of Nature song idea that we're expanding on.
All right.
Might be sloppy, might not. Like I said, it's very new.
Okay.
We'll kind of see. Let's
Right.
see here. Let's see if we can pick up the pace.
Okay.
Kind of sloppy,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you know, very new. I'm kind of in an awkward position right now.
Mm-hmm.
But that's an idea I came up with where played it one night at like 2:30 in the morning.
Okay.
Brought it over to the boys, and then like I got just way more excited about it because I'm like, oh my god, the things they are throwing on top of this is just like yes. Very exciting. I'm very much getting to the point where I feel like a little kid when I'm writing or making art, and like we were very much feeling like children when we were playing it. And yeah, that's when I knew I was like, this is something that's cool. Now, when we played, it's through my electric and through a bunch of effects and sounds like really really cool. Yeah, I hope that was a.
Oh no,
I hope that was all right.
Oh yeah, it was all right. I got one more request, brother.
Yes.
One more request. Can you do that amazing fire Billie Jean cover for me?
Okay. So haven't warmed up. All right, you sure? I'll play some of it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, this is also in a different key. I don't know if my voice will be able to. This is like the Michael Jackson key, but
Okay.
I think what I'm gonna do. I don't really want to sing right now, mainly because I've been drinking a lot of coffee.
Oh, okay.
My voice is pretty dry right now, but I think what I will do is kind of explain some fun things about covering songs.
All right, go ahead.
Especially in a band where you write music.
Mm-hmm.
Because then it's like, all right, let's start covering some songs. What are we gonna cover? So Brandon just busted out the bass line for Billie Jean.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm painting over it. I'm trying this, I'm trying that, and nothing's exactly hitting.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, all right, let's think outside the box. What would I do if this was my own song?
Mm-hmm.
So instead of like, you know, you have that main line. All right, so there's that. But I was like, what if we change it up? What if we do like add in that, throw in that, throw in that, throw in that. Now you have Billie Jean, not my lover. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And then in that part, when I do that, Brett goes in halftime, and I'm like, man, we're just totally making this whole song our own. and that's really, yeah, it's very exciting. So like nothing's wrong with covering songs. But when you make it your own, it becomes like almost
Yeah.
feels like your own song, even though it's
Mm-hmm.
very much not your own song. Um, so yeah. Sorry, I'm not feeling like
No, it's all
singing.
right. It's all right. It's all
Um,
right. At least you did a little something with the
I'm
guitar.
very,
Do, do,
yeah,
do.
but yeah, it's a lot of fun to
Yeah.
cover some songs. I'm very much an advocate of stealing like an artist.
Mm-hmm.
I tell all my students all the time, like, hey, you want it, we're gonna find your style. How we find your style, we have to find the musicians you love,
Mm-hmm.
learn some of their songs, and whether or not you're conscious of it or not, um, you're gonna end up taking something from that, and it's gonna become a part of you. I
Mm-hmm.
learned some Santana stuff. I'm gonna sound a little bit like Santana.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I like stealing some ideas like that.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Yeah. So, well, basically, uh, one more thing that I do want to talk about is that upcoming single, Notice of Nature single coming pretty soon. Talk about that, man. Talk about that. Let them know about that.
I'm very excited for it. That's one of those songs where I wrote my part on my own. I had a form, a chord progression, brought it to Brett and Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just said, what they painted over, and I'm like, sweet, this is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we were playing it out at shows, and people were like asking about that, like, hey, I really liked that song. You should record that song.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's that demand. We're gonna now make that supply for that demand.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we're like, this is probably the perfect single we can have. It's a minute, or not a minute. It's 2.5 minutes, very short, very quick, very sweet, very to the point. Um, it's very much that chocolate chip cookie we want to
Mm-hmm.
present to people. So most people like chocolate chip cookies.
Oh
So we'll
yeah.
eat this cookie, and then we're like, oh, what other flavors you got? And we get to throw in our other songs and stuff like that. So it was a very quick process writing that song, which honestly a lot of songs are becoming a pretty quick process.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and well, then it came to the point where it's like, okay, well, who are we gonna have record and produce us? Now we have a
Mm-hmm.
lot of options, because in the whole scene, a lot of these musicians I meet also record and produce.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had a lot of offers. Okay, so
Yeah.
but our concern was, who are we going to be very comfortable around?
Exactly.
Um, because we recorded at Columbia College a couple years ago for one of their school projects. They're like, hey, we want to record you guys for a school project. And we're like, all right, yeah, we'll come in.
Mm-hmm.
We get there, and just the way we work as a band, um, we just talk shit to each other
Oh yeah.
all the time. Like that's just how we do. We're just always making fun of each other all the time. We're always on each other, and it's
Mm-hmm.
hilarious. But like, if you don't know us, and these guys did not,
Oh yeah.
they're just kind
Oh
of like, dude, they're just bullying this guy. And I'm like, no, we're not bullying him. We're just annoying the shit out of
yeah.
each other, because it's hilarious. That's hilarious to us.
Yeah.
Um, constantly bugging each other. Like Brandon will be like, hey, let me take some of your equipment to the car. And I'm like, okay. And then I get outside, and my guitar is in a tree. And I'm like, what the hell, dude?
Yeah.
And like, that's just the tip of the iceberg. We're constantly messing with each other.
Yeah.
So it's like, we need to find someone that we're comfortable
Mm-hmm.
around, that knows us enough. And my manager at Guitar Center, Peyton, who is Blumline Productions,
Mm-hmm.
Arbor Avenue, she's good friends with Brandon, and I'm good friends with me,
Mm-hmm.
and met Brett a few times, and she saw us live. And I was like, you know what, I think you're just gonna be the right person for this single right now. Um, Brought her in. She recorded us. It was such a quick process that went so smoothly. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, wow, this is so much easier than I thought it was going to be, than recording's ever been for us.
Mm-hmm.
Um, did the mixing, and was very open, like, what do you need more of? What do you not
Yes.
want? This and that. Helped us out a lot. And then, yeah, she pointed us in the right direction to release it on our own and everything like that. We found some cool art.
Nice.
And yeah, it was a very fun process, and I think it's not perfect. I have to let go of things being perfect, or else I'm just won't be pleased with things.
Yeah.
So it feels like very much our first single,
Mm-hmm.
but I love it. It's well produced. I think we did a great job performing it. I have a solo that I'm satisfied with, which is awesome, that I can say like, oh,
Nice.
I'm satisfied with this guitar solo.
Mm-hmm.
And we tried recording on our own. I can't do it.
Oh yeah.
I record with this, but I can't do it because I'll take too long on recording my parts. I'll take 45 takes for one riff, where like we need that person to be like, okay, you just had 8 solos. You're done. We're cutting it off. We're gonna look through them. We're gonna look through them. There's gold in there. We know it's there. I'm like, all right, fine. Even though I can sit here for 4 more hours in solo. So yeah, everything came together very nicely. And as far as the future of recording, I don't know what we're gonna record next or when. It's just kind of waiting for that demand again. But yeah, it's gonna be nice that we can finally be like, hey, we have something out there, and when someone asks, hey, do you have anything online, now I can finally be like, yes, here it is. Like I said, 2.5 minutes, man, that's not asking much
Oh yeah, of
from
course.
people. I think it's like I said, that chocolate chip cookie.
Yeah.
So it's titled Just Breathe.
Okay.
Pretty relaxing song, I think, in my mind, but it's still got some the perfect amount of energy to it.
When it's coming
I'm
out?
excited. It's gonna come out Tuesday, October 26th.
Yeah.
Now, typically things are released on Fridays. New Music Friday, but I chose Tuesday because it's like, well, nothing's happening on Tuesday, so maybe it'll stick out somehow.
Exactly.
Yeah, very, very excited for it though. Very excited.
All right, yeah. And also to the viewers, hey, once that comes out, this is a surprise for Jerry. This is an early Christmas present for Jerry and Notes of Nature that I'm about to say right here. I will be donating to the promotion aspect. I will help promote the single for the Synch Era, and I will put the link in the description once it drops for this podcast. So when the full video comes out, it'll be right in the podcast. Tell them what all platforms. Tell them what it's gonna be on.
Thank you. Yes, it'll be on Spotify, Apple Music. We're gonna put it on Bandcamp. We're gonna put it on SoundCloud, YouTube. It'll be, you can Shazam it if you want.
Nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be out on everything we can put it on. Very, very excited for it. Yes, so thank you for that though. Thank you.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's why I was telling you in the DM. I was like, hey man, I know how to, I'm certified. So, I got my credentials. But yeah, everybody, check out when this drops, when it comes out, when the audio comes out first, check out Just Breathe by Notes of Nature. Everybody. Let's clap it up for Notes of Nature, everybody. Let's clap it up for
Rock and roll.
Clap it up for Jared, Two Spoon Duo.
Thank you.
We appreciate everybody tuning in, listening. We appreciate you too, Jerry, for coming in, taking your time. I know I was about an hour late, but hey, I'm glad I'm here.
It's my day off. I'm chilling.
So, but other than that, we appreciate you for coming, spending some of your time with us, and we appreciate all the things you've done and all the things you're gonna do with everything and all your endeavors.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. This is it's very exciting. I was very excited for this all week. I'm like, I can't wait. It's gonna be so much fun.
Man, appreciate it. All right, Synch Era, we out.
Rock and roll.